How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at RuneScape Mobile, and we're going to be talking about why this is the best MMORPG to actually play on your phone at this moment, as there is a lot of people who do play MMOs exclusively on their mobile phone, and I know this to be true, seeing as in the past I used to spend quite a lot of time playing RuneScape Mobile, and I have probably been through a lot of MMORPGs on the Play Store, on the iOS store as well, and it's just not a good site. So I'm going to tell you why I believe RuneScape Mobile is going to be the best MMORPG you can play on your phone, and also hopefully by the end of the video you'll be able to know whether this game is for you. Anyway guys, if you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you are new. This video will be catered towards people who do not currently play RuneScape, for any of my current viewers that are watching this of course, but I hope you enjoy the same. Anyway, let's get going, shall we? So of course the best place to start would be, what is RuneScape Mobile? Well, the mobile version of RuneScape is the identical game as the PC version as well. You can play on mobile and then log off and go to your PC and log in on the same login details and play the exact same account exactly where you logged off. So any progress you make on PC or on mobile will be carried across to the other version as well. So for anybody looking for a mobile game that they want to play but also progress on PC at the same time, this is the perfect game for you. So it just means that when you're at home, you can play your account, you can progress, you can do whatever you want to do. But then for example, if you have a job that takes a lot of travel time, say you're on the train for quite a lot of time, you can progress your account, you can play your favorite game while you are sat on the train, and you can make a lot of progress that way. But not only that, you can play this game anywhere. Of course, it's on your phone, you can do whatever you want. If you just want to be sat on your couch and play rather than sitting at a desk, it's definitely possible for you to do. That being said, there's a lot of things that come with this. Because it is a full PC game, you do end up with a lot of content, and also you also get quite a lot of other benefits and reassurances as well, knowing that this game has been around for over 20 years. So it's not going to just die off and disappear tomorrow. It will always be here, and I really don't see any issues with this game in the near future in terms of like being a dead game. It's just not going to happen. We are actually gaining player counts at the moment, and it is in a great place. You also know the game is getting consistent updates, with a update pushed every single Monday, and patch notes posted on that as well. And of course that also includes big game content, as lately we have been getting a new boss each and every month along with lots of other content alongside that. But also it includes things like bug fixes and changes, quality of life fixes, all that sort of stuff. This game is getting a lot of attention from the devs, it's getting lots of updates, and it's getting a lot of work done to improve the gameplay for all the players. While there can be some rocky stuff along the way, there's always going to be that sort of thing with games, but the devs do a pretty good job of getting it fixed within probably by the next week's update, that sort of stuff, depending on how bad it is for the game. If it is a game-breaking thing, usually it's fixed pretty quickly. And if you're not sold already, the big thing that a lot of mobile players are going to love is there is no autoplay option in this game. The game will not play itself for you. You will have to put the time in, which means that you get the reward out of the time you've invested. One of the biggest issues with mobile MMORPGs is that they will auto play for you. You press a button, it does auto combat, auto leveling, auto everything, auto questing, for crying out loud. RuneScape will not do that for you. This is a game that you will be playing, and it is a game that once you've done stuff, you will get the feeling of achievement, the feeling that you've done stuff, the feeling that you have invested in your character. It is a really important part of any MMO, of course, and removing that just by adding things like autoplay and stuff is just not a good idea. So this is one of the few games that does not have an autoplay, and it is absolutely a strong point as well. Anyway, what we're going to talk about in this video from here on is how it actually performs on mobile devices, seeing as this is originally a full PC game. I'll have a quick talk about the UI, of course I will cover the combat as well, and then I'll talk about the main uses of the game for people who already play as well, and how it performs for certain things in game, such as skilling as well and leveling up your account. And of course we'll be covering all of the different things that you can do in this game, all the different content, all the things you can work towards, as I'm just going to warn you now, this game can take a lot of hours, but they're hours that you'll be itching to invest. So I wanted to cover early on how this game actually runs on a phone, because a lot of you guys are going to be thinking, this is a full PC game. You've said yourself that this is a full, in-depth PC version game, and you've just brought it, it's been ported over to mobile, the UI's changed and stuff. How does that run? How does it look? Has it been dumbed down? Does the graphics look nowhere near as good? And the honest truth is, no. The company Jagex, who make the game, have actually done a brilliant job of bringing its PC version game over to a mobile version. The game was originally pushed back quite a bit from its release date, but this is absolutely a great thing, as it did launch in such a better state than if they'd tried to push it out and rush it in the time frame that they said it was going to be available in. The graphics in this are actually comparable to the PC version in a way that, unless you had them specifically side by side, you wouldn't notice that much difference. It's a great looking game, and of course you need to keep in mind that this is not a mobile game, it is a PC game that has been made available to play on a phone. So there's a good reason why it does look great, and there's a good reason why it can require quite a decent device. That being said, it does run on most new modern phones, but at the same time, you're going to want a decent spec phone, be able to run it without having to reduce the graphics a whole lot. That being said, the game runs absolutely fine with the graphics turned down, and that doesn't remove from the entire experience, but it is something that, you know, everyone likes to see a good looking game. So as long as your phone isn't ridiculously old, I think you'll be okay. As expected, running this game on your phone will drain your battery a lot quicker than if you just had your phone on idle or if you're just watching videos and stuff, but it uses a lot of resources, so that is to be expected. If you're going to be playing it out on the go, then you may want to bring along things like a portable charger or stuff, or just ensure that where you are going to, once you arrive, you will be able to charge your phone that way. As for data consumption, Jagex have done a brilliant job of making sure this game doesn't drain a hell of a lot of data. Most people these days do have access to unlimited data, depending where you're from, but it doesn't drain a whole lot. It is actually really good at conserving that, as a lot of the game files are pre-downloaded in the first place, so you don't have to actually reload or download those as you play the game. Now that technicalities are out of the way, we're going to talk about what sort of things you can do in this game, comparing it to other games. Now, this is not the sort of game where you will just be following some random quest line that you don't know what you're doing in, because as soon as you log in, it just tells you go to this place, and you never really know what's going on because you press the quest thing and it automatically runs you there. That is not how this game works. This game actually lets go of your hand pretty early. It is a open world sandbox MMORPG. You do whatever you want to do as a player, and you build your own character in your own way. You can level up 28 individual different skills, and you don't have to level up ones that you don't want to do. For example, if you wanted to go out and be someone who just made armor and sold armor to other people, you can do that. You can mine the ores yourself, you can smith it into bars, then you can smith those bars into armor, weapons, all that sort of stuff, and sell it on. It may not be the most profitable thing to do, but you can do that. You want to be someone who just does trades and does no combat whatsoever, that is a valid way to play the game. There's so many people who play the game that are just skillers, but then of course there is the big aspect of PvM, which is bossing, killing off big bosses to get big drops, big loots, and that will be through combat as well. There's many ways to play, and your hand will be let go fairly early on. That being said, there is a lot of tutorial as well that you can go along with, and I would suggest that you do so. Playing the tutorial at the beginning is very important. I would suggest that you do pay attention to it and read it. It will teach you a lot of the basics that are going to be really important. Otherwise, you can get lost pretty quickly, you can get confused fairly early, and it's a big reason why people stop playing, because they skip the tutorial, they don't pay attention to that, and from there on, they don't really know what to do. Questing in this game is nothing like any other MMOs that you probably have played. If you've never played RuneScape in the past, then you are going to be surprised by the questing. You do not go out and kill 10 wolves, bring the wolf pelts back to wherever person told you to go and kill them, and then get 10 gold and some experience. That is not how this works. You're going to be going on small adventures to begin with, which is going to be running errands for people, which doesn't sound super interesting, but trust me, they are little things that teach you about the game, give you good rewards, and they're all unique. Early quests will take you around one of the cities, gathering up specific ingredients to help cook, bake a cake, but then that cook will also lead into a bigger quest line, which is saving many people that have been frozen in time, and you will have to go back and collect stuff to help bring those people back to the normal world. Eventually, you'll be going on your way to slay dragons, going on massive adventures, and some of the quests can take up to an hour, even over an hour to complete. I know that sounds like a lot of work, but every quest has its own lore behind it. Every quest will have its own characters that you will get to know throughout other quests and stuff as well. They all have their own backgrounds and they all play their own part. It builds a world that you actually care about, and every single quest that you do will give you a great reward rather than just giving you a few bits of coins and a few bits of experience. None of the quests are the same as the others. You will never repeat a quest, and none of them will feel like another one. For example, you will not be killing 10 wolves and then killing 10 bears and then killing 10 cows. That is just not how the questing in this game works. You will be going on massive adventures. So if you are someone who really enjoys lore, you enjoy questing, and you enjoy getting into the background of a world like this is definitely a game for you. So now we know that you can play as someone who just goes out, builds their own fate, and goes along and basically becomes a skiller, making armor, making gear, making stuff and selling it to other players, making potions that are going to be important for other people, working off of the land basically. Or you can become a warrior who goes out, slays bosses to get drops and make your money that way. Or you can be someone who goes on massive adventures and goes through quests and gets unlocks through that way. Eventually you'll be doing most of this stuff on the one account together, but you can start the path however you want to start it. Going a bit more into depth about the bossing in this game, this is a big aspect to RuneScape, and it is something that keeps a lot of players going and grinding and working towards, because this is just a main focus of this game. There are currently 35 different bosses in this game that all have different mechanics and will give you a different experience as you fight through them. They all drop different rewards and unique items that you can work towards, and there's a hell of a lot of loot to be found. Some of these bosses start off being fairly easy, some of them will end up being a really difficult challenge. As someone who has played for over 15 years myself, there are still bosses in this game that I cannot tackle, and that's a great thing because you always have something to work towards. A lot of these bosses will require you to have a good understanding of how the combat works, using defensive abilities to stop yourself from being stunned or free yourself from stuns, reducing damage by using a shield and other abilities alongside with it, and then also putting out a lot of damage per second by using the right gear at the right time and using the right abilities in the right order. RuneScape definitely has an in-depth combat system, and it is tricky to learn, but once you do pick it up, it is incredibly satisfying. Defeating these bosses leads you on your ways to upgrades, improving your gear, improving your other skills, and then working on other bosses as well and working your way up the ladder. It is a great sense of accomplishment, and once you get there towards the top of the ladder, it is a great place to be and gives you a lot of fun things you can do every time you log in. Getting a bit more in depth about skilling, you will have access to skills such as fishing and wood cutting, mining and fire making, herb lore, all that sort of stuff, and there's a lot of other ones as well. But there's also skills that lead on from those. For example, the ones that I gave you were all base raw material gathering skills. For example, fishing, you can then take that and you can use the cooking skill to turn that into food, which people doing combat will be able to use that food to get their health back up. Then not only that, the wood cutting skill, you can then take that and you can use the fletching skill to make things like arrows or bows or anything along those sort of lines, or you can use the crafting skill to make other things as well. Mining will let you gather ores. You can then take those to a furnace and turn those into things like metal bars, which then can be smithed into different pieces of armor and weapons that you can then sell to other players or use yourself too. You have farming, which is where you plant seeds and you get things like herbs and trees and all that sort of good stuff from there, things you would expect, and then you can take those herbs and you can turn them into potions through herb lore skills, and you can use the potions for combat, you can use the potions for skilling, you can get boosts across the game by using the herb lore skill. There's other skills such as Slayer, which will take you out on tasks to kill off a certain amount of mobs that a Slayer Master will provide to you. You can go ahead and kill those off, making yourself some money while also leveling up your account combat wise and gaining you some Slayer experience. The higher you level your Slayer experience goes, the more challenging these monsters will become, but also the better the rewards will be. There's a summoning skill which will allow you to gather charms as you do progress your account. You will use those charms to make summoning pouches which will summon different familiars or different pets, I suppose you could call it, that will help you out in the game, whether it's for skilling or combat, it does not matter. There's a lot of other uses, special attacks from them for example as well. Alongside that, there's many other skills that I would not be able to mention in this video because there's just not enough time, but the use of skills and how you can use them just does not end in this game. It is absolutely amazing. You will always have something that you can work on. So now you know what sort of content is offered by the game, let's talk about the actual mechanics of the game and how it runs and how you can expect to play the game when you're on your mobile phone. So, RuneScape is a tap to move game, and this is an issue for quite a few people. There is no joystick to move or anything like that. That being said, it does allow for a lot more stuff in game to be available. So bosses and stuff allow positioning to be very important by doing this, and it's something that you'll get used to doing as well in the same time. It may feel a little bit weird to begin with, but this is something that you will get used to, and eventually you kind of forget that that's what you're doing. It'll become second nature, and it doesn't feel the same as what you would expect out of other tap to move games. It's not you tap once and wait for ages. There's a lot of inputs required, and once you sort of get into it, you'll sort of realize what I mean. The user interface itself is fairly easily understood, but as long as you paid attention to the tutorial, so make sure you do so, as it will tell you where all the key features are during that. The way the combat system works will bring up a tab that will give you options for abilities that you can slot in there, but then also you can have a revolution version which will use basic abilities automatically for you in the bottom bit, and then you'll have circles where you can slot the abilities like I mentioned before, that you can manually input all the things like thresholds, ultimate abilities, and things like food and potions and gear switches. There's a lot that goes into combat, and while the mobile system isn't the absolute best for it, you can still do every boss in the game on mobile. It has been done. There's been people who have done challenges that are way more difficult than anything that I could have done on the PC, and they've done that on mobile as well. So it is definitely something that you can work around. You just have to put a bit of practice in, get used to it, and once you have got used to it, be absolutely worth it. That being said, the UI can be confusing and a little bit hard to get used to, so if you are struggling when you do pick this game up, I will put a link in the description of this video of a user interface guide that I have made that will go through every single part of the user interface, and there will be timestamps in the description of that as well, so if you're looking for something specific and you just can't find it, that should be able to tell you where to go. If you cannot find anything in there as well, leave me a comment on this video and I will reply to it as fast as I can. So that's pretty much most of the stuff that I would want to cover for this video. I know it's been fairly long and I know that there's been a lot of stuff to take in. However, I stand by my point that this is the best mobile MMORPG available at the moment for you to play, and that mostly is just because it is a PC game and not a mobile game. You will spend a hell of a lot less time getting MTX thrown down your throat. Yes, there is still microtransactions in this game, but you will not get random ads or red dots and all this sort of stuff flying all over your screen, big flashing icons telling you to click here just to try and take your money. Jagex, the company that make the game, do not limit things such as inventory space or anything like that to actually make you spend more money. You will never run into something in the game where you hit a paywall. There is no paywalls in this game. Everything that you do buy is just for your personal gain. But like I say, everything that is available in the PC version, every single quest, every single boss, every single area that you can visit is available on the mobile device as well. So you have access to a full PC MMORPG on your phone, and that is why I believe this game is the best free MMORPG to play in 2021 on a mobile device. RuneScape does take a lot of time to get into, it does take a lot of time to invest and actually get your character built up, but that is the content. Progressing your character, leveling up and doing all the achievements that you want to do is what you should be enjoying, so enjoy it on your way towards the end game, and then once you get there, you get the massive reward of all the different stuff this game has to offer. Alright, so we're going to end the video here. I hope that you did enjoy. I hope there's plenty of people who are watching this who think, you know what, I'm going to give this game a go. It is free to play. You don't have to have membership subscription to begin with. You can get straight into the game. You have access to most of the skills. You have access to a great area of the map, and you will not be limited too much as a free-to-play player where you can't play the game. Also, you can buy membership with in-game currency as well, so if paying for a membership subscription is something that you personally cannot do, don't panic. You can work on that in-game. You can use in-game currency, and you can pay for your membership forever with your in-game currency. Anyway guys, like I said, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you are new, leave a comment down below if you are someone who has never played RuneScape in the past, but you're going to give this game a go. I'll be very interested in seeing how many of you guys there is. Anyone who is currently a RuneScape player and you've got this far, absolutely crazy. Leave a like, leave a comment to help in the algorithm as well so it gets pushed to more people. We want more people playing the game, right? So leave a comment, leave a like, all that sort of good stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, guys. Thank you all so much to my channel members for the extra support. Your names will be on screen now as always. Always really appreciated, so thank you very much to you guys. If anyone else is interested in joining the channel members, click the join button by the sub button. You can get some perks, get a name on the screen at every video and stuff like that, while also supporting the channel. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.